Today, I will update you on my Airbnb business in Bali after 4 years of operation. Although I now live in Dubai, many of you who follow me for some time know that I have an Airbnb business in Bali that I've established after I left London, and it's been in operation ever since. My company, Agora Homes, is a property management company that I've set up in Bali in Canggu, and currently we have a hotel there with my local partner of 20 rooms. And since the first video performed really well and many of you asked me to update you guys on what's been going on in Bali and specifically about my Airbnb business, what were we up to, how did we survive COVID, then that's the video exactly about that. So I hope to cover all these matters in this video. With that being said, let me tell you how the business is performing nowadays and what we did throughout those 4 years, what kind of changes we implemented, and how it looks for the future. After the launch in the first 4 months of operation, which was December 2019, we were completely booked out 100%. And the future was seeming really good as we were planning for the summer already all in advance. The operational team was fully on to everything. We even had the restaurant running at the time already, and we had a chef, so everything was looking really good. Until COVID hit and we were required to cease the operations for some time. It wasn't very long. We actually only didn't work for about a week because we were trying to understand how we need to strategize our marketing campaigns, who are we actually targeting, and that's when we realized that we need to completely shift our marketing strategy and target the locals. And by locals, I mean the Indonesian market, which is already 300 million plus people, and they were easily traveling throughout their own countries. So we had a pretty big pool of people who will be potential clients for us, and that's why we actually retargeted everything. We remarketed our campaigns. We try to advertise more on the local websites, local Facebook groups, and Indonesian forums. And throughout these years when COVID hit, we were actually trying to offer really good discounts for long-term stays in order to ensure that we have full occupancy, or at least 90 or 80%, which actually never happened. Luckily for us, we were always 95% booked, which is crazy. I know how it sounds, but even during COVID, we were fully booked. And that is all due to us retargeting and re-strategizing the marketing, offering discounts for families to come from Jakarta and other major cities in Indonesia to stay for longer, because it was pretty depressing at the time, and there were many who were actually going on islands and different other better places where they can enjoy the sun and can work remotely, because even Indonesians, they have quite a big remote culture. That's why if we talk about surviving COVID, then one of our best strategies was actually targeting the locals, not really emphasizing much on the Western social media, although I was still growing my social media channels for Agora Homes on Instagram, LinkedIn, and many other platforms. However, this actually didn't really help. I was getting a few bookings through Instagram, which is still happening, and obviously nowadays this is much better, but the main bookings were actually coming from Jakarta and the Asian countries. And by the Asian countries, I don't mean the Westerners who reside there, but the actual locals. So we had Chinese, Japanese, and many more coming to Bali. Honestly, I don't know how others survived COVID, but for us, the main driver was the shift from Western tourism to mainly local Indonesian tourism, which actually helped us to maintain an average of 96% occupancy throughout our 4 years of operation, and also helped us to achieve the Airbnb superhost status, which we only got after a few months of operation, and during COVID, which is crazy. During that time as well, I got back to Europe and I was also working in fintech, which is my main profession, and was mixing the Airbnb business in Bali with that because I wasn't really sure that I want to stay in Indonesia, where honestly it's really hard to get really good healthcare. And during those times, that was really mandatory for me. I wasn't sure if I'll be able to fly to Singapore in case anything urgent happens. So I was staying in Europe and trying to do the next logical thing, which is automating everything. And by that, I don't only mean the online things, but also the operational things on the site with my partner. That was a very big advantage that we did this on time and actually very early in our journey, because I was able on the online site to take everything and automate it through hiring a few people to manage the online platforms. I also built a system that will automatically synchronize all the calendars from different engines, and that was super helpful because we were sometimes getting bookings on site and it's really hard to keep up when you are remote. I was always on the phone with my partner and trying to see if we have availability. So that was a very big step where we have a big calendar and see all the bookings from all the engines and even the one physically available when people come in and book on site. So currently I only have a platform where both me and my partner and some of my employees, which don't even spend more than 2 to 3 hours a week to only reply to guests, which also are automated. So all the replies are already written in Airbnb. They have amazing, fantastic services that help you to make it flawless and easy. So that was another step that I did, and I suggest to anyone who's doing Airbnb to make this process a bit more automated. You can even write, the internet information such as the Wi-Fi username and passcode, the instructions how to reach the place, if there is any pets on the place. So many things are available nowadays on Airbnb. We were also able to automate the business on site operationally because we hired the right people and actually did some interviews to get the right property manager there. Although my partner is still based there, we would have the right staff that will do the cleaning there, and we also had a chef who would prepare not only the dinners but also the full menu, so that basically everyone on site had their own responsibility, and we're also able to work with each other and make it more smooth and flawless for the guests, and also not requiring many more investments and salaries to be paid, to be honest, to other people, because that also is quite a big cost, and we were required to manage that as well. I mentioned that some of the bookings actually come through Instagram and social media. So another thing that I worked on during these 4 years was updating and also upgrading the social media profiles for Agora Home. So mainly on Instagram, we partnered and collaborated with many brands and hotels and different properties throughout primarily Southeast Asia, but also Europe. So besides marketing our own properties in Bali, we also try to basically develop a media channel for Agora Homes and be some kind of a influencer, if you may, in this space, that have already reached out and were already contacted by different hotels, like I mentioned. So that was another thing that really helped us to grow our business, and people were noticing this, and that was a quite a good factor. However, for our business, since it wasn't super luxury, it's not as mandatory because we always had our customer. We were and still are mainly targeting the expats who moved to Bali for a longer time period, so mainly few months. Throughout this past years, our average rent length was actually around 2 months. That's why we were mainly targeting expats, and that's actually any age category. They were just the people who were coming to Bali to live for a while, experience the culture, the island, and so on. Mostly similarly to what I did at the beginning when I came to Bali. The next thing that we did throughout this period was doubling our capacity to 20 rooms, and that's because we only started with 10 rooms when we launched in 2019, and those were the ones that were fully booked. So that's when we realized that there is actually a lot of potential, and that happened without actually much marketing. So even if we don't do anything, we were very certain that there is potential. Which is why during COVID, we actually strengthened our forces and tried to build and double the capacity. So that was in the plans of my partner at the beginning. However, we were not sure when to do this, and also during COVID was a better time to do it because we were having a few months when we would have not all the guests on the site, or although we had full capacity, many of them would be traveling and so on. So we were able to actually build it without damaging the comfort for the guests and producing too much noise. Also, during times of crisis like COVID, for example, it's actually a good time for building something or for starting something new because there is a lot of available resources. There were a lot of people who didn't have jobs, so we were able to provide these jobs to them. And that's exactly when you are actually able to get the best workforce for lesser of an amount when the economy is booming and they can charge you crazy amounts for furniture, for the work, and so on. And with that, we were still able to maintain a 96% occupancy rate, and that is crazy. And for that, I thank every one of our guests who visited us. So thanks a lot from my side. I hope you really enjoyed your stay, and we hope to serve you better and better in the future. Other things that we did, we always were trying to do regular maintenance and refurbishments. Obviously, this is Bali, so you have different kind of issues with property on such islands. So mainly you have issues with the water and the water tanks not running properly, hot water not being available, the showers getting dirty or wet and not being able to maintain them properly. That's quite a big issue actually throughout the whole island, and I've stayed at super luxurious hotels and villas, and all of them have them. That's a fact, and that's something that you can't really avoid, but you can do your best to maintain it properly and provide the best value for your guest. Finally, another cool thing that we did throughout this period, since we were able to get a lot of materials and a lot of construction things and different decor for much cheaper than in the normal economy, we did a lot of upgrading of the property overall. So we actually upgraded the garden. We got a lot of really cool trees and plants, mainly because of my partner. He knows where to get them, how to import them, so he put them and planted them everywhere throughout the territory. It just created a blend of really nice nature. So you can see a few pictures as well. It's super beautiful now, and that was something that we were also able to do at a lower cost throughout this period. Then, besides upgrading the territory, as in mainly the garden, we also upgraded the pool. We also made a separate area for the gym. We added a few more tables and chairs, as most of our guests are expats who work remotely from our place, and that's why they need these spaces outdoors. So you have a lot of different hidden corners where you can work. You have all the sockets, and we also upgraded the Wi-Fi, which was something that you guys asked us to do. So we actually added around 20 routers throughout the whole property so that they cover all the hidden blind spots, and you will have Wi-Fi throughout the whole property without any interruptions. And of course, that's to the best Balinese standards. When storms hit, then that's unavoidable. So that would be a problem for everyone on the island. However, in the normal times, 99% of the times, we will have very stable and fast Wi-Fi, so that's for sure. Another thing that we did throughout this period is adding a lot of complementary services, which is something that we actually provided at the beginning as well. However, now that we scaled up, we have the team operationally working perfectly and automated as well. We also have everything online working and functioning properly and without any interruptions. And also being a Airbnb superhost, we were able to look at other income streams and add a lot of complementary services to also enhance your experience as a guest. Some of such complementary services is the bikes and car rentals, which are now available on our property, and you can even request them in advance, and we will connect you with one of our property managers who will be able to help you with renting the perfect vehicle for you to be able to see Bali and be mobile at all times. We also now do airport pickups and drop-offs, so we actually provided that in the past as well, but now it's just way more automated and organized. So if you need anything, you can just reach out to us via Airbnb, and one of our support advisors or even the property managers will be able to advise and arrange it for you. Finally, from the transport side, we now also offer Bali tours, so if you're interested in doing that, you can also arrange it in advance. From the leisure aspect of complementary services, we included now massages and spa treatments into our catalog, so you have this available on site. So we actually partner with a local spa that will provide you the therapists, and they will come to our place and arrange everything for you, and you will have the spa treatment perfectly done. And finally, we were actually required to close down the restaurant that we opened in 2019 throughout the COVID period, since that wasn't really the key target for our customers who were local. So they didn't really, Indonesians, they like to eat out and also cook their own meals, so they didn't really use that. So that's why we were required and forced to close it. However, now we reopened it, so that's fully functioning. We have very competitive prices. We actually don't look at it as a separate income stream. We just want to make our guests' experience as flawless as possible and just offer them some food and drinks on the side, as we are based in the rice field, so not everyone wants to maybe drive far away or order, so we have everything on the site. And of course, this is all very healthy and very tasty, because we have this chef who is amazing, so you should definitely try it out if you're at one of our places. In financial terms, we were able to recover all our investments, and that is a really good thing. It took us some time and hurdles throughout the COVID period. However, I think we managed to do it properly to also help the community and employ the people who didn't have jobs at those times, and also offer really good prices to our guests. So we are striving to be really good in that aspect. And although I'm now based in Dubai, I'm always visiting, and I've been recently in November to check out on the operations there, so everything is on point and working perfectly. In terms of the next things in Bali, I am actually not sure if I will scale the business there, because I'm currently concentrated and fully focused into expanding it to Dubai, and I've already invested and rented out a couple of apartments here on my own, but I want to do this as a company, perhaps even provide property management services here. So that is the plan for now. However, I'm still keen to look into Bali, and I'm always in contact with my friends there and also with the real estate agents there who are building amazing developments and properties and villas everywhere throughout the island. So if you actually want some information on the best current developments, do reach out to me. I work with a couple of them. I also just can advise you on the ones that I don't work with, and I personally think that they're pretty good. So just let me know and I'll be happy to help. And that's about it on the update side of things for my Airbnb business in Bali, Agora Homes. I hope you found this video interesting, and if you didn't watch the first video where I describe how I actually started this business, then you should definitely click on it and watch it right now. And for your time, I thank you very much. You can leave a thumbs up if you liked it, and I'll see you in the next video.